Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make tiny improvements to your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon. Hello and welcome to this episode. I'm recording this intro and editing this episode in the airport, and I am about to take off in about 15 minutes to head to Orlando for the Balloon Boss Summit. But I didn't want to wait any longer for the release of this awesome episode with Erin from Young and Wild Balloon Company, and also the release of our brand new color chart. We talk all about it in the episode, and we've been planning this for a few weeks now. She has been using it for a few months, and I'm so excited to make it available to all of you. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and I will see you next week. Well, welcome back to the show, Erin from Young and Wild. Today we are chatting about something that you created that I encourage you to make available to more people than just me because of something you mentioned on your last interview. So in case people didn't catch that interview, I will link to it, but go ahead and introduce yourself really quick so we know who you are.
Hello, Sarah. It's so good to pretend that I haven't been talking to you for an hour. I'm Erin. I'm with Young and Wild Balloon Company in Columbus, Ohio. And you're right. We did a podcast episode about hiring a couple months ago. And I think it might have been after we were done recording, we started talking about just what we were doing in our business. And that's how this color chart came.
Yeah. You mentioned you were just like, I have people pick their colors off a color chart. And I've never done that because while I use brands, like I use multiple brands because I like certain colors and they're not all on the same chart. And then, every balloon brand likes to include every single balloon option on their chart, but I don't like to give my customers those options. They inevitably pick like a jewel tone or a color that we know they haven't had in production for 6 months that we can't get our hands on. And it's just kind of a nightmare. So tell us such a simple solution that you created and that we are going to make available to listeners.
So I can't take all the credit. It was my idea. And then I have a similar employee to you, a digital strategist, if you will. So I have a friend employee that helps me with all of my computer related things. And she helped me put this together actually. So credit to Katie, she's the best. But she created me a custom color chart where I just went through my inventory and I told her the brand and the name of the color of all the balloons that I keep stocked. I'm not going to say I don't randomly get some random color because it is similar enough to another one in a different brand, but I gave her my standard colors that I always have, and she created me a custom color chart. So, it's all of the major brands. I think I've got Qualitex, Tuftex, Metallic, and Jamar represented on my color chart. So when I told you about it, you were like, what in the world? I need this. So
yes, yeah, absolutely. Because there's not my favorite pinky blush is Cameo, but then most everything else I use is Qualitex, but then Sangria came out, and then what's the new one I love? Empowerment. I really like some of the new Tuftex colors, but it's I wanted to be able to pick and choose. And when I saw yours, I was like, what is this? How can I get it? And then also after I was using it for a while, I was like, we should figure out how to make this available to people. And not only did you figure out how to make it available, we figured out how to make it customizable. So basically, in the show notes, if you are interested in having a color chart that's totally custom, you pick all the colors, you can use the link, and we've created a Canva template that has not only the color chart, but a blank color chart that you can drag and drop all of the colors that you want to put in your custom chart. Because it's in Canva, you can customize it with your branding. You can add your website and extra information on there, and a zip folder of all of the thumbnails. So even if you're not interested in a color chart, you can still have all of the thumbnails, all of the images to upload into Canva, every single color. So if you're making
mood boards or trying to, I mean, I guess you could use them in like mock-ups or just proposals to show the actual colors of the balloons, little swatches. And the thing that basically Katie did for us was make it consistent, because that's what was not happening across brands. Because Qualitex doesn't care if their branding matches Tough Text. In fact, they probably want it to be different.
Exactly.
We, as you know, as marketers for our own businesses, we want that consistency. So now all of the colors, all of the brands, all of everything is in the same perfect little circle with the name of the balloon, and you get all of those thumbnails, the template. I included my template that I use. So like if you don't want to do any of the customization, but you just want kind of, in my opinion, the best of the best, very similar to what you used as well, because I copied yours originally. That is in there as well. So you could just get the download, use that color chart, and you'd be off and running. But yeah, it's so simple, but I feel like a lot of the need is for just these simple solutions that someone has to take the time to create. So I'm glad you did.
I am too. I'm so excited. I will say I think that having a color chart, it's on my website and it's like on my inquiry forms. So, and there's obviously like a box on my inquiry form where my clients can type in the colors they want. So they like cross-reference this color chart and, you know, they compare it to their invitations or whatever. And 9 times out of 10, they're spot on with the colors that they need to match. And it makes my life so much easier. So I've loved having it, and I love that it's customizable, like you said, because I, you know, use so many different brands. And, you know, it's funny because I think that like the best like sagey green is willow, but I have a balloon friend who really likes eucalyptus by Vitalik, and she doesn't carry willow.
See, that's my preference, but sometimes I can't get eucalyptus. So it's nice to be able to switch it out kind of on the fly.
Yes. So, and now my color chart has eucalyptus and willow and olive, because now I just keep them all stocked and I like them for different situations. But I've been able to customize my color chart as my inventory has changed and shifted and grown. You know, Qualitex will randomly stop making colors. And so it's been really nice to be like, well, I don't really carry this color anymore because Qualitex doesn't make it anymore. So I just take it off, and then, you know, it's similar enough to sangria or whatever. And then I add sangria. So you can change it as your inventory changes and as your business evolves. So that's been
and I have been using a color chart, well, your color chart, since we talked. So that was a couple months ago since we talked.
It probably made you buy different balloons though, because people were
seriously like, I was like, why am I considering these balloons I love and use all the time as like special order outliers, just because they're not on this color chart that I didn't even create. And since then, it has made it so much easier to just straight up front offer the color chart to people. They like seeing that. They will call the colors, like you said, by name, which then keeps me from second guessing. I am the queen of like the night before I look at the invoice and it's like white, beige, and olivey green. And I'm like, what the frick is beige? And what the frick is olivey green? And then I have to like go back into the email and find the inspiration photo and second guess and like wonder, versus if it says Sangrio, Cameo, and Chrome Gold, it's like, oh, that I for sure know exactly what those are. There's no color matching. There's no second guessing. Like they're not going to be disappointed because they picked the color. So if they are, it's almost like putting more of that, not blame, but responsibility on your customers.
100%. I did the same. If people are unsure, like I have an option on my inquiry form where it says like, Erin, take the wheel and like, I'll send you inspiration. So they send me their inspiration photo and I say like, oh, it looks like the closest match to your colors would be white, chrome gold, cameo, eucalyptus. Here's the color chart. If you'd like to cross-reference, once I have your approval, we'll finalize the proposal. So they approve it. Even if they're like, Erin, you can choose my colors, I'm still like, here are the colors they are. Here's the color chart, compare.
That's so smart.
And the colors are as true as they can be, you know. They really don't vary a whole lot.
No, and on the color chart, it does do a really good job too of showing the difference between like gray and silver and chrome silver, you know, like all of those are, I think just color wise, they all kind of read as gray, but there's like shines on them. And she did an awesome job of making them actually representative of what they look like. One more tip that I do is I have an autoresponder. So as soon as someone sends the inquiry, it sends them back kind of a lengthy email, like not confirming, but just something that says more than like, thanks, we'll be in touch. And it says like, here's what you can expect. Here's the timeline that I'm working on. And here's the color chart. And it links to my color chart on my website so that like, while they're waiting for me to confirm my availability, they're already looking at colors. They're already kind of starting to plan. So I'm almost like redirecting them back to the website to really start getting, because sometimes people shoot off a form like really quick without fleshing out like any details. They're just trying to see if you're available. And it's like, well, no, like, I'm not sure if I'm available until you tell me what you want me to make.
Exactly. You know, it's so funny because I use the CRM too. And I have, as soon as someone's inquiry comes in, they get an auto response. Same thing. It's so funny because we've never even talked about this, but we do the same thing. And it's like, here's what to expect. And you can upload your inspiration photo here. And here's my color chart. And then they reply typically before I've even been able to see their inspiration photo or before I've been able to even see their inquiry. Like I have their inspiration and I have them saying like, you know, here's my inspiration photo. And I think these 3 colors are what I want, or whatever. So it's so true. It just makes it so much easier. And if I see like, they're like, oh, I want like a 50 feet of garland all in chrome gold. And I know that chrome gold is like really hard to get my hands on. I can say no now.
Yeah.
Before I go like take their order and then realize like, oh crap, they want 50 feet of garland in chrome gold. And I'm not going to be able to, I'm only going to be able to make them like 10 because I'm going to get it or whatever. So,
right. Absolutely.
Or if it's like a job tomorrow and you know, there's, you know, it just makes it a lot easier.
Absolutely. And the other thing, unrelated to colors, but related to you that you inspired me to do after your last episode, and I've texted you this and you know, is that you inspired me to hire my first employee. So I am very grateful to you because I just felt like everyone else made it sound so, I don't know, adult, and I'm just a dumb kid.
Oh my gosh.
I'm an old kid, but like, you know, things like that seem scary. And like, I didn't know the first step to take, but for some reason you breaking down like the hourly wage and how many hours a week, it was like, wait, people are willing to work for 5 hours a week. That seems like that's nothing. So I hired a friend. She's amazing. She's serving as my digital strategist and it's just all thanks to you. So
I'm so happy. I actually loved hearing from Nicole in your last episode. So she seems great. And I actually was talking to another balloon friend because she's talking about setting up a CRM. And I was like, did you listen to this last episode? Like Nicole's only taking 3 clients. So I don't know if she has any more spots, but
yeah, well, so this is off the cuff too, kind of a shout out. So Nicole is booked. You guys, she booked all 3 clients within 24 hours. Isn't that amazing?
Surprised. Setting up a CRM is no joke.
For real, that's why I don't do it. People are like, can you just help me? Like, we know you love 17 hats. I'm like, I cannot devote that time the way it needs to, but she can. Only 3 at a time. I think even that's going to be challenging. Who knows? But if you listen to the last episode with Nicole, who is working for me and working for lots of people now, you can still get on her wait list. Like basically, I think her plan is to kind of cycle people out. So once she sets people's CRMs up for them, then she'll move on to the next person. So if you missed the first spots, you can still sign up with her. But it feels really good to kind of pay it forward and also be able to serve people in our community because like it's hard. And Erin, you've admitted like you're not the most computer techie person ever. So it's like you hired someone to do that. So I'm glad that she is willing to help kind of all of us and me too. And the more that people ask her to do, the smarter she's getting for me too. So I love it.
You're benefiting for sure.
Someone sent me a question. They were like, hey, I'm working with Nicole. Why don't you just do this, this, and this? And I was like, that's a thing. I can do that. Like Nicole, figure it out and do it for me. Like I didn't even know. So it's nice. It's
amazing. Yeah. Setting up a CRM is no joke, but once you have it up and running, like your life is like my life has freed up so much just having something manage everything.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Even if you're not ready for a CRM and like you just need to write down your auto responses, if you just need to save them as a Google template, did you know there's a way to save them in Instagram too? Someone just told me that actually on our retreat when we were together. We should talk about that too.
You're gonna have to divide this into like 10 episodes.
This is all off the cuff. But this is an awesome tip that someone
Mallory.
told me. Mallory.
Went out of proportion. Yeah.
Yes, out of Utah. And if you're going to respond, like if you're going to send a message to someone, there's a little 3 dots button and it's saved responses. So like if you just want to have your saved response, like go to my inquiry form on my website, you can have that saved and just shoot that off to people as soon as they send you a DM in Instagram, which is a good like hybrid between no autoresponder and like a full on away message. Cause sometimes that seems like a little harsh too, if you like chatting with people on Instagram. So, oh my gosh, little tip there. And so we'll talk about this because I just mentioned it, but Erin was so gracious. She hosted a little informal balloon. We called it a retreat. It was really just like balloon business owners from all over the country, really. How many were there? 6, 7?
I think there were 9 of us.
9 of us? Yeah. So we rented an Airbnb.
I think.
We hung out. I mean, it was a blur. if you know, you know. If you were there, you know. So it was fun. We did an installation for a charity. We got together and just kind of hung out. Some of us drank a lot of wine.
Some of us, Sarah.
It was me, you guys. It was a really fun, like extended weekend, basically. Yeah. And I have gotten a lot of questions about like, how do I get to come? And like, it wasn't a thing, you guys. It wasn't like a retreat that you registered for. This was something that Erin just did. And anyone listening could also do it. Like we did not know each other other than Instagram. I knew almost everyone there from podcasting, honestly. And then they were all friends of friends. So let's go off on another tangent and just chat about how have you been so successful at making like other balloon vendor friends? Because I think that seems like scary to a lot of people. Like, how do you connect with people in a real way that you just kind of meet on the internet?
It's so weird because people like when I had the balloon babe retreat, like my friends here were like, wait, like you met on the internet? And like
my mom like thought I was going to be murdered. I was like, well, this is the best con ever. If this is a murderer waiting for me, they've earned it.
You're like, let me pull up a picture of Erin. She's not going to murder me.
She started a balloon business to trick me into going to be murdered.
So funny. I don't know. I think the easiest way to make balloon friends is just to be like a cheerleader on the internet. I mean, if you're in the organic balloon decor industry, especially, you are more than likely very active on Instagram because we are a very visual business and a very socially oriented business. So I wouldn't say I have like a huge Instagram following, but I have like a very loyal local following and a ton of balloon businesses that follow me as well that aren't local. And we just make friends. I just, if I find a new balloon business, I follow them, I shoot them a message, I reply to their things, leave comments, and it feels good to be cheered on by a stranger. And it just, I think eventually develops into something a little more natural, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. I also think like it's fine to let yourself be like a fangirl or a fanboy of another business. Like there are businesses that I'm just like, everything they do is awesome. Like I genuinely love it. This isn't me like running around Instagram trying to make a bunch of friends. This is me like really being impressed by certain people. And it's maybe not their balloons. It might be like just their personality I connect with, or we have something in common, or maybe we met like super briefly and just kind of became friends. Like I become friends with a lot of the people that I just have on this podcast because it's fun to chat with people, but almost everybody is just like a cold call, essentially. Like at first I don't know them, but now we're super close friends and just kind of met on Instagram. And
I know, I think I met you when I sent you a message to be like, thank you so much for your podcast. Cause it was like this time last year, I was like, I listened to these episodes and I did this, and this, and I've seen this change. And I was so grateful for it. And I think that was me being a fangirl essentially. And just like being like, thank you for all this free content. Now I'm a Patreon.
It's so funny because I feel like I knew who you were when you did a Teachable Moments class on Having a Party. Yeah. And I saw her and I was just like, who is this pretty girl with her hair? So then I started following you.
I adore you. You're so funny.
I was nervous to do that teaching thing. So I started like stalking all the other people teaching, being like, how are they setting up their camera? I don't remember. I had to have been because I was watching you like, oh no, she's in a store and she looks so professional. And I was still like in my
store.
Well, right. I was still in my basement. I was just like,
that's true.
I was just totally.
I was still in my basement at the time. I was in a friend's store doing her window display when I did that teachable moment for Having a Party. That's so funny.
But yeah, it's just, I think like when you see those little things start to happen, allow yourself to actually like entertain the idea of becoming actual friends with people. Like I remember going to a balloon convention for the first time and people were like flipping out. They were like, oh, I get to see all my friends. Like I only get to see them once a year. I was like, what are you talking about? Like these are like people you see once a year that do balloons. They're not your friends. And now I'm like, oh, I totally get it. Like they are. These are like lifetime friends that you see once or twice every few years. And it's just, yeah, it's like old times every time.
It's so true. And I think the thing with the balloon world is it's obviously growing and growing and growing because it's like so trendy right now. But like who was I talking to? I was talking to, I'm sure you know, Nikki. She's in the Balloon Boss Mastermind from Violet Pineapple Balloons. I was talking to her yesterday and we were talking about stuffed balloons and she was like, oh, do you follow Marlene Potts? And I was like, and then so it's just like, I was like, Sarah told me about Marlene Potts and blah, blah, you know, so it's just like
I met her through Joette, who is balloon coach, and she has a retreat. I'm going to see Marlene next week. And it's this huge community, but a really small world.
It is. It's a huge community, but a small world. That's the best way to put it because it's so like, I talk to this person and they're like, wait a minute, you should talk to this person. And it's like, another like big name in the organic balloon decor world that I didn't even follow or know existed. And they're like, ask this person about that specific thing. And, you know, and it's just, you have to be willing to like humble yourself, I guess. And like, ask other people questions and, I don't want to say it like that. Like, don't like try to like steal information from people or, you know, like there's, you know, I'm doing finger quotes secrets, but like, you have to be humble enough to just like fangirl and be like, Sarah, like, you know, I love the way you did this X, Y, and Z install and blah, 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 blah. You know, I was messaging with Pop Park City today and I said, you know, you guys put high shine on your balloons outside. Can you talk to me about this? Because I've always been scared to use high shine because it says to use it the day before and they, you know, they're so nice. And like, I was humble enough to ask and they were generous enough to just like chat with me about it. My message to Pop Park City about their high shine was not my first message to them. You know what I mean? Like my first message to them was more than likely like a reaction to one of their pictures or like, you know, like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Or, you know what I mean? I didn't go into me interacting with them with the hopes that they would eventually one day tell me their high shine secret. It was I just admire their very amazing work and let them know. And then not creepy, not, you know, in a humble way, you know?
Yeah. You know who I think is really great at that? And we chatted about Lily before the show. I just talked to her this morning for another episode that's coming out next week. I love Lily from the Creative Arts Studio. I have like total fangirl of her. But I met her at a convention and she was so nice. I was like, you're like such a big deal. Why are you talking to me? And then the fact that she has repeatedly come on this podcast with like nothing to gain. And then she bought a course from me, even though I'm like, what do I possibly have to teach you? She bought a sweatshirt from you, which is just like, she's so generous. And I have found that like the people in our industry that are really generous, not with like, only their money, but with their time or like their compliments. Like, I feel like those are the people that then turn out to be really successful because I think that they're getting that in return and they're just kind of like, I don't know, putting good vibes out into the atmosphere.
Humility goes such a long way, especially in a business like this. And Lily is like a really good example of that.
Speaking of being a friend, I am so grateful that I got the early preview of this color chart because it has been streamlining my business and making me some money for the last, 3 months here. And again, if that's something that you need for your business, it is, trust us. You can download it in the show notes.
Yay! I can't wait to see everyone's.
I know, right? How everyone is going to customize. I'm thinking like, how could you organize the colors? Or like, what if someone's favorite color is one I don't even know about? Like when I was organizing it, I was like, I have not heard of half of these colors. Like Jamar has so many colors that I've never even heard of before. So I'm excited.
I'm excited to see other people's color charts because I'm like, what do people buy? Like, what do people stock? You know, because I feel like mine's really beefed up now because I've customized it. I've had that color chart for like a year.
That's crazy.
I've been customizing it for a year now. So I've really like kind of honed it into like what exactly I always have on hand.
Oh, I'm going to say one more thing. I actually use mine for my inventory chart too. I laminated one and then with a whiteout or not a whiteout marker, what they call a dry erase marker. Okay. I will just like write, like I'll put like a 3 on the color balloon, like so red. And then when I use up one of the balloons, I've been like kind of erasing as I go. And like, then I mark it down to a 2. So then like when my inventory comes on, I can like visually like bulk them all and be like, okay, now I'm stocked in everything. So I'm really trying to work on my inventory like techniques this year, but having like a chart in front of me. And then I'm so excited. Next week, the episode is with Lily, all about organizing my shop and changes I'm going to make because she's brilliant. And that goes into inventory as well in terms of like seeing all the balloons and like knowing what you're out of because you can see that you're out of it. So it's been really valuable for that as well.
I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear it. We should talk about inventory sometime. My husband built me a spreadsheet.
Ooh.
Change colors when I need to order them and I could never build this.
That sounds like the next file that you need to make available for download.
Maybe I will. But things.
Welcome to the podcast called "I'm Stealing Everything from Erin."
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for the color chart. I'm excited to see how everyone's turned out. It's so simple. So simple. I'm so bad at computer things and I'm able to do it. If you can click a mouse and you can read. I will say you need a Canva account though. And I know you'll have to link, you've done a couple episodes on Canva.
Yeah. And I actually, in the download, before you even buy anything, I give you the entire instructional video, sharing the screen. You can see every single thing that you get, how to upload them. You don't even need to pay. Canva's free. I totally recommend the paid version. It's worth it for me, but you'll just need to fill out an account, which I think most people have at this point. So that's kind of the only caveat. If you have a
Canva account and you want this, definitely sign up. And it's, like you said, it's free and you don't need the pro account. The pro account is nice though. But, and then you'll want to upload your logo and stuff to it too. So.
Well, thank you so much. You had every right to just be like, no, you can't have it and no one else can. But thank you. Thank you for helping us.
I can't wait.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
That wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I tried to keep it bright and light in a few minutes or less. I'll talk to you next time. For more information about any of the resources or courses mentioned in today's show, please head to thebrightballoon.com or check the show notes wherever you're listening.